So, hello everyone, welcome to Sunya IITians. Now, this is your lecture on worksheet 2. This is in accordance with your lecture number 2 for the Prelims Crash Course 2023, 18th Century Indian States and Society, and also the British Conquest of India. Now, we have made sure that these two things have to be done simultaneously because 18th century was the time when the Mughal Empire in a way ended, and at the same time you will see India faced the most tumultuous time, and also the Britishers started taking over as much territory as they can, and you will see in this period only the rise of British Empire, the fall of Mughal Empire, and the rise and fall both of the Maratha empires took place. So it's a very interesting time, and one has to have a great amount of knowledge about this period. Now, one of the bigger thing which you need to know is in the 18th century, what really was going on society-wise. A lot of the student, they surely go through what happened with the Britishers, how Britishers were able to conquest whole of India. Okay, how they conquered whole of India is everyone is going to read. They're going to read about the Anglo-Carnatic, the Carnatic struggle, the Carnatic Wars, the Anglo-Mysore struggle, the Anglo-Maratha struggle, the Anglo-Sikh struggle, which actually happened in 19th century. But you need to understand that what is also needed to be known is what was really going on in the Indian society at large. What was happening in the Indian polity, what was happening among the Indian native states, what was their situation. Those things also needed to be studied properly, and it has been seen in past few years the pattern has been such that those things are given much more importance. So make sure that you read them more properly. Now let's move forward and let's try out some questions. It's in accordance with what what we have studied. So the very first question, consider the following statement about the 18th century India. Raja Jai Singh was made the Subedar of Agra. Martanda Varma of Travancore lost to Dutch East India Company. Bangash Pathan was the leader of Rohilla Afghans, and Bharatpur rose to prominence post 1750. Now, this whole topic has been covered in great detail in your old NCERT also and in your new NCERT also. Fine. It's totally depends on you from where you have to read it. Okay. Now, Raja Jai Singh was made Subedar of Agra. Martanda Varma of Travancore lost to Dutch East India Company. Bangas Pathan was leader of Rohilla Afghans, and Bharatpur rose to prominence post 1750. Now, Bharatpur was formed in 1695, but this is true that post 1750, when the Mughals were in a decimated situation, Bharatpur rose to prominence. And actually after 1761, or basically between 1757 and 1761, they excelled. Okay, so the fourth statement is right. Now, Bangas Pathan was the leader of Rohilla Afghans. This is also right. Bangas Pathan is the leader who supported Farrukh Shiar against Jahandar Shah also, and he got into prominence after that only. So that statement is also right. Now, third and fourth both are right. Martanda Varma of Travancore lost to Dutch East India Company. Now, this statement is wrong. Martanda Varma came to power in 1739, and post this, he was someone who revamped the whole Travancore state and revamped the military of Travancore state on the western lines. So you will see that Martanda Varma actually won against the Dutch East India Company and reduced the active participation of Dutch East India Company in the Travancore society. So the second statement is wrong. Now, the moment you put second statement wrong, you immediately get only one option left, and that is 1, 3 and 4. So the Jai Singh, that is also correct, that after 1713 you will see the influence of Rajputs will increase so much so that they will start getting the governorship during the Mughal times only, and after 1722 you will see Raja Jai Singh was made the Subedar of Agra. So 1, 2 and 3 statements are correct. Now let's move forward and let's go to the next question. Consider the following statement about the 18th century India. Indian ships building industry focused on high seas. Major shipbuilding industry were in Bengal, Hyderabad and Maratha Empire. Mysore maintained shipping trade with Mahe and Bandar Abbas port in Persia. Now, first statement, Indian shipbuilding industry focused on high seas. This statement is actually wrong. Now, Indian shipbuilding industry was there, and that is correct. Indian shipbuilding industry was there in Bengal, Hyderabad and Maratha Empire. This statement is totally correct. But they were mostly focusing on the coastal trade. Okay. In the 18th century, the high seas was totally in control of the British. So the first statement is wrong and the second statement is correct. Okay, the first statement is wrong. Second statement is correct. So by that itself, you can get 2 and 3. But still, Mysore maintained shipping trade with Mahe and Bandar Abbas. This statement is right. Both Hyder Ali and after him, Tipu Sultan maintained a relation with the Persians and also Tipu even tried to take over the Bandar Abbas port, okay, for the trading purposes of Mysore state only. So this statement is right. Okay, so the correct answer is 2 and 3. B option. Consider the following statement about 18th century Indian society. There was uniformity of cultural pattern, huge inequality in lifestyle of upper and lower classes. Muslim society was divided on ethnic lines. Now, which of them are correct? There was uniformity of cultural pattern has never been correct about India. This is a one statement you can be always sure that there has never been a time where there was a homogeneous or uniformity of any kind in Indian cultural sensibilities. So the statement 1 is wrong. And by that itself, you can get 2 and 3 answer easily. But otherwise also, huge inequality in lifestyle of upper and lower classes, that was the most prominent factor in the 18th century India. Because those who were part of Mughal nobility, 18th century is the time when the decimation of the Mughal empire took place. When the whole decimation started and the Mughal treasury started losing money, where this money was actually going on day-to-day basis. The looting from foreigners happened once or twice here and there, but on regular basis it was the nobility, the Mughal nobility, okay, the Mughal nobility who were getting the benefit. So their lifestyle was just too lavish. At the same time, the people at the bottommost strata were asked to pay more and more revenue. Demand was made in front of them. So their situation was even more deteriorating continuously. So this statement is right. Muslim society was highly divided. This is also correct, because as long as Aurangzeb was alive, everything was going fine. But he was not fine, but he was able to maintain things here and there. But after his demise, you will see that the Turanis, the Afghans, the Persians, the Uzbeks, and Hindustanis. There were many ethnic line division in the Muslim community all over India. Okay, so the statement is right. 2 and 3 will be the answer. But as we have discussed, even if you just knew the first answer, which is more of a general factual thing instead of a historical information, then also you would have been able to mark this answer correctly. Now, the next question. Consider the following statement. Factories were the trading centers for the European companies. French East India Company was the last among the European companies to come to India, and Jahangir gave trading rights to all European companies. Which of the statement is correct about European companies? Now, factories were the trading center for European companies. This is correct. Okay. Basically, factories were kind of what we call now SEZs, special economic zones. Okay, so in the factories, the trading used to take place. Okay, suppose this is the map of India. This was Surat. In Surat, there is a factory. Now that factory is owned by the English. They will send their representative to purchase material, products, goods from the hinterland India, bring it in Surat factory, and then from there it will be sent to United Kingdom. So that was the case with everyone, whether it was Pondicherry in hands of French or Dutch had their presence in Chinsurah. That was the case with everyone. So this first statement is right. French East India Company was the last. This is also correct. It was 1664 when the French East India Company was even formed. So coming here was even later than that. Jahangir gave trading rights to all European companies. This is correct. After 1612, when Battle of Suwali was fought, after that in 1613, first he gave trading rights to the English, and subsequently you will see that whosoever came till the very French came in the time of Aurangzeb, but Mughals made it a policy to keep entertaining these outside traders, because as long as all of them will be there, they will be competing among each other only, and they will not be creating much difficulty for the Indian government or Mughal government at the time. And because they will be competing among each other, Indian people will be getting better prices for their products. So all three of them are correct here. Fine. Now, consider the following statement about the 18th century Indian society. This is important. Peshwa took steps to curb the practice of dowry. Widow remarriage was prevalent among non-Brahmins in Deccan. Maratha General Parshuram Bhau took steps to promote widow remarriage. Now, this is some factual information which is given directly in your new NCERT. So you can read it. Okay, new NCERT. Now, Maratha General Pashuram Bhau, who was serving the last Peshwa, Bajirao II. So he actually took a lot of steps for widow remarriage, but not much happened. But it doesn't mean that he didn't took steps. He tried his best. So this statement is right. Widow remarriage was prevalent among non-Brahmins. In Deccan, this statement is also right. Widow remarriage was a taboo mostly in the Brahmin community and basically in Bengal and Rajasthan, okay, or Rajputana as it was called back then. But in Deccan, widow remarriage among non-Brahmins was very prevalent. So this statement is also correct. Peshwa also took steps to reduce or curb practice of dowry. This statement is also correct. Okay, all of them are correct here. Consider the following pair about the Carnatic Wars: Battle of Adyar, Siege of Arcot, Battle of Vandivash. Native forces lost, Robert Clive first military victory, Ayar Coots took over Mahi. Which of them is correct? Now, we know it very well that all of them are connected with the Carnatic Wars. And when you are preparing for prelims examination, whether it is a Carnatic Wars or it is the Anglo-Mysore War, or it is the Anglo-Sikh War, Anglo-Burmese War, Anglo-Afghan Wars, all of them, you don't have to remember the whole story as such. All you need to remember are their specific facts. Okay, there are specific when the war started, when the war ended, what was the name of the treaty through which the final decision was reached. These are the things you have to focus on. And in cases there are specific battles, you need to know about some specific battles only, not everything. So, Battle of Adyar was fought in 1746. Siege of Arcot happened in 1751. And Battle of Vandivash happened in 1761 or 1760 actually. Okay, now which of them is correct? The Battle of Adyar is actually famous because during the first Anglo-Carnatic War, okay, in the first Anglo-Carnatic War, the Battle of Adyar was fought, and in this fighting, the French fought against the native Indian ruler, and the native Indian ruler of the Carnatic, the Nawab of Carnatic, Anwaruddin, lost, even though he had a force of 10,000. This is important because the Europeans got to know for the very first time that Indian fighting men are not capable to face the European fighting men. So native forces lost. This statement is right. Siege of Arcot happened in 1751. It was also very important because militarily speaking, for the very first time, Europeans did that. Robert Clive went inside the fort of Arcot and made sure to keep the siege on in front of the Nawab of Arcot himself, whose name was Chand Sahib. Okay, so in the front of Chand Sahib. Subsequently, Chand Sahib have to revert back, and then he was in a way arrested and his head was chopped off. So that you need to remember. The Battle of Vandivash took place in 1760. Okay, Sir Ayar Coot was the English officer. Okay, and this is the only time the French East India Company and the English East India Company fought each other face to face. And that's why you have to remember this. Although the fighting men in this case also were native men from both the sides, majority of them. But Ayar Coot in 1760 not only won the Battle of Vandivash, sidelined the French, but actually followed the French back to the fort of Pondicherry and took over the factory in Pondicherry, Fort St. Louis. And it was only through the Treaty of Paris 1763 that French were able to get back the control of Fort St. Louis when they provided the assurance that no more they will interfere in the affairs of any other native Indian rulers to the British. Okay, so all of the pairs are correctly matched. Which of the following is related to the revenue collection system used in the 18th century India? Mal Zamini system was something which was introduced by Murshid Quli Khan in Bengal, okay, to reduce the inappropriation in Izaredari system. Lakhi Raj system was introduced by Mir Qasim when he shifted back to Patna, and Risala system was actually a military system, military reorganization system of Hyder Ali. So Risala system is wrong. 1 and 2 are right. Okay, B option. Which of the following is correct about Anglo-Mysore War? Rocket technology was first used in Battle of Polilu 1780. This statement is totally right. This battle was won by the Hyder Ali, although the final war, Second Anglo-Mysore Wars, ended in a stalemate. through Treaty of Mangalore. In Battle of Polilur was the first time when rocket technology was used, and it is said that the British got inspired by this rocket technology, and then only later on they developed their own rocket technology, based on which we have the modern form of rocket technology even in the 21st century. The Treaty of Mangalore gave half of Mysore to East India Company. Now, that was Treaty of Saringapatnam, which happened in 1792. Treaty of Mangalore was a stalemate treaty, and both the sides decided to go back to their borders as of 1780, when the Second Anglo-Mysore War started. So the second statement is wrong. Wodeyar family signed subsidiary alliance with the East India Company. So overall impact of the Anglo-Mysore War is, this is correct, that after the fourth Anglo-Mysore War, Wodeyar family was decided to sign the treaty. Okay, when Tipu Sultan was killed, and the Britishers provided the throne back to the Wodeyar family only on the assurance that they will sign the subsidiary alliance, and they did so. So this statement is right. 1 and 3 are correct. C option is correct. Now, question number 8. Third Battle of Panipat was the last time Ahmad Shah Abdali invaded India. This statement is wrong. It was 1767 when the last time Ahmad Shah Abdali invaded India. And one need to know what is India. So any and all territories which were east of river Indus were considered to be India. There was no Radcliffe line back then. Maratha support to Mughals was based on the terms of Treaty of Jhalki 1752. That is correct. It was Treaty of Jhalki signed between the Peshwa of the Marathas and the Wazir of the Mughal Empire. Even the Mughal Badshah himself had disliked the treaty, but the treaty was done because the Wazir at the time, okay, was very powerful. So this statement is correct, and it is said that to follow on the Treaty of Jhalki's terms, Marathas got the control of parts of Punjab, and that was not liked by Ahmad Shah Abdali and played as the triggering cause for the Third Battle of Panipat. Maratha regained almost all the lost territory within a decade of loss of Panipat. This is correct. By 1771, because Panipat was ended in 1761. So within 10 years, you will see Marathas, because of the federation system, were able to take back most of the areas which were lost by them initially. So this statement is also correct. So first is wrong, second and third is right. B option is correct. What is Saranjani system? The very Saranjani system can be explained in continuation of the last question itself. Okay, so is it a Maratha Jagirdari system, a military strategy of Bijapur Sultanate, a new form of tax applicable on traders only, education system? It's a Maratha Jagirdari system. Basically, the system was easy. In 1719, when the Marathas got the right to collect revenue from 6 of the Mughal provinces, 6 of the Mughal provinces in Deccan, it is obviously just by getting the right to collect revenue, obviously you will not be able to collect the revenue. You have to build in your institutional system. And for this purpose, what they did, whichever Maratha general has performed well in the past battles and has excelled in the field of politics, they were given the responsibility to go and establish this institutional system and collect the revenue from there. This system was initially evolved, the Saranjani system it is called, it is initially evolved during the time of Chhatrapati Rajaram, but it was made compulsory or executed properly only at the time of Peshwa Balaji Vishwanath. Okay, and it is said that from here only the Maratha Swaraj, Maratha Empire evolved into Maratha Confederacy. The families like the Sindhyas, the Holkar, the Gaikwad, the Puar, the Bhosles evolved from this system only, and it is considered as a Maratha Jagirdari system. Now, consider the following pairs about the Anglo-Sikh War. Treaty of Amritsar 1809, Treaty of Bharawal 1846, Treaty of Lahore 1846. Now, in 1809, when after the Second Anglo-Maratha War, when the Marathas were sidelined from the northern part of India, the Sikh and East India Company became immediate neighbors around Delhi. Under these circumstances, it was decided that Sikh Empire and East India Company has to get an assurance from each other. And so Treaty of Amritsar was signed in 1809. Okay, under term of Treaty of Amritsar was that the Sikh Empire will not try to expand east of Satluj. Okay, east of Satluj. So this Satluj area was given to the Britishers, and then on the Sikh Empire started moving towards Multan. Okay, and they captured it by 1818. So the first statement is wrong. Kashmir was not given to Dogras. Actually, it was Sikh Empire who took Kashmir, or took Jammu from Dogras, not Kashmir, Jammu from Dogras in 1808 only. So the Sikh Empire won Jammu from Dogras only in 1808, and they made Dogras as their local representative over there. Treaty of Bharoval happened after First Anglo-Sikh War in 1846. After the end of the war, along with the Treaty of Lahore, you will see Treaty of Bharoval happened first, and through Treaty of Lahore, British took over Punjab. This statement is wrong, because British took over Punjab only after Second Anglo-Sikh War, and there was no official treaty signed. But Dalhousie took over whole of Punjab by removing the Dilip Singh, the ruler himself. So the third statement is wrong anyway. The first statement is also wrong. Only one pair is correct, that is A option. Treaty of Bharoval, Rani Jindal was pensioned off. Okay, this is correct. After this, just for your information, Dilip Singh, who was very young at the time, was given a British guardian to look after him. And you will get to know that later on, influenced by him, he converted to Christianity and shifted to England only. Yeah, so I think so that's all what we had to do at this lecture. Let's catch up in the next lecture, and we'll do more questions in line with the lecture number 3. Okay, and meanwhile you can check out other courses, other options which are available for you on the Sunya IS platform. Make sure to check them out. You can contact them through the contact number written on the screen, and that will be all for now. Thanks a lot and have a nice day.